10 o'clock. It is wonderful to have Sherry Torkos back with us. She's a holistic pharmacist, but she's also the author of this book, the Canadian Encyclopedia of Natural Medicine. This is actually, do we say volume 2 because it's new? It's just recently back on the market, 2 weeks since this one came out. Updated version.
That's right, new, expanded, updated, and as you know, with health and medicine, things are constantly evolving and changing. So when I wrote the first edition, which was back in 2007, a lot has changed since then. So I spent a great deal of time reviewing, expanding, researching, and updating so that Canadians would have the most recent up-to-date information.
Do you find that we're more informed? Do you find that we are choosing to make more informed decisions, or that this is actually, people are seeking out this information more than they were before?
I think that both. Canadians are becoming more informed about their health, and they're more interested in being proactive, and a lot of Canadians are turning towards complementary natural medicine for a variety of reasons. Their perception that it is maybe safer, they want to take charge of their health, and in fact, according to a recent survey, about 70% of Canadians are taking one form of a natural health product.
Okay, so there's too much to go through.
Yes, there's a lot. It is.
I have to look at my desk and I'm like, where do you even start? But you've done a great job at kind of breaking down some of the newest things, some of the things that you might want to consider that are broken down in here.
That's right, new and surprising things. And I thought I would start off with some functional foods and their supplement counterparts, and we can talk about some of the specific health benefits that can be derived. So starting off at this side here, yogurt, which is incredibly popular, great breakfast food, gets a lot of attention for the active cultures, the beneficial bacteria. I mean, yogurt has been consumed for thousands of years, and way back in history we knew that there were some beneficial effects to yogurt, but it hasn't been until modern research has actually identified why that is so. And the beneficial bacteria that's in yogurt can help support gut health, immune system function, and for that reason some of the strains of probiotics are now being sold in supplement form for specific therapeutic effects. And one thing that I wanted to highlight is the fact that there's great difference amongst probiotic strains.
Because we think of the probiotics in this big overall...
We think of them as just a category.
Right,
and it's true that in general we can say that probiotics are good for health. But if you have specific health conditions, that's where you need to look for a specific type of probiotic that's been clinically studied for your condition. So I have some examples here. This VSL number 3, that has been specifically studied for people that have inflammatory bowel disease. So we're talking Crohn's disease and colitis and a complication of that, which is pouchitis. This is something that you would find most commonly in pharmacies through healthcare practitioners as well. And then 2-Zen. See, these are ones that are people may not be as familiar with, but I'll tell you, if you have Crohn's disease or colitis, or in this case, irritable bowel, you can get significant benefits with taking these probiotics on a regular basis. So the 2-Zen, people that have irritable bowel syndrome, which is just a horrible condition to live with, very uncomfortable, gas, bloating, either constipation, diarrhea in cycles, it can be a real uncomfortable situation.
They're able to actually discuss it and verbalize what they're going with. Babies can't do that, and both of us were discussing how our little ones were colicky, and I wish I had known about what you're about to show people right now.
That's right, the BioGaia, and I found out about it because my son, when he was a couple of weeks old, had terrible colic. He had terrible gas. He would cry. I just knew his tummy was hurting him by the way he was drawing up his legs. His belly was bloated. The latest research on colic has actually highlighted the fact that colic is not caused by mother's diet. It's not caused by the color of the baby's room.
I didn't eat broccoli. Or
I know.
I tried all those things like that.
And I'm a pharmacist, and I know better yet. My mother would say, well, it's the Indian and Thai foods you're eating, and stay calm. But anyways, the researchers found that a lack of beneficial bacteria in the gut actually causes changes in gastric motility. So that leads to cramping, discomfort, gas, and bloating. And the BioGaia has actually been clinically studied for infants with colic, significant reduction in crying time, reduction in symptoms. And I'll tell you, in our household,
there you go.
And in the
so
drop,
these two, okay.
For the little infants, you can just drop that right into their mouths. And that's what I did. I just held his mouth open, 5 drops. You can find this. It's in the refrigerator in the pharmacy, the drops, and then this is shelf stable. You'll find that on the counter.
Look for these. I think you just hopefully saved a lot of our parents out there. All right.
And also other things that are being derived from milk, and milk protein in particular. This is called microlactin, and this is a fairly new product that is being used for the joint pain and inflammation that occurs with osteoarthritis. It's a patented and purified type of milk protein that's been clinically studied. And researchers have found that if you take this for about 2 weeks, you can have significant benefits if you have osteoarthritis, which basically osteoarthritis is degeneration in the cartilage in the joints. You get bone rubbing against bone. It becomes very comfortable. And actually a main reason why people don't exercise is joint pain and joint discomfort. So the microlactin is something to look for as well.
Okay, let's try to get through these ones
Yeah,
real
let's
quick.
try to touch on berries. I mean, berries are just so beneficial for so many reasons. The plant pigments which make them so beautiful, the purples and the blues and the reds, are compounds called anthocyanidins, which are great for the health of the blood vessels, but certain compounds in berries also have certain therapeutic effects. Cranberry in particular has been studied, and a lot of ladies will have heard the benefits of cranberry for preventing bladder infections. However, if you don't want to drink cranberry juice every day, you want the consistent benefits, that's when you would look for a cranberry supplement. These both contain something called Cran Max, which is a clinically studied form of cranberry. It's actually been found to be comparable to antibiotics for prevention of bladder infections.
Really? Okay.
And then, at the end of the table, I have grapes, which grapes and red wine, part of the whole French paradox, a lot of health benefits for the heart. Well, research has also identified certain compounds in the grapes, the polyphenols, that can have dramatic effects for lowering blood pressure. And so now you will find the grapeseed extract in supplement form for people that have high blood pressure. Maybe they're not yet on medication. The doctor says if you don't get it under control, you're going to go on medication. That's where something like this approach would be very helpful. It's been studied at UC Davis. It's called Mega Natural BP, and it's a clinically studied form of grapeseed extract. What it does is it reduces blood pressure by opening the blood vessels, relaxing the blood vessels, and improving the health and the flexibility of the blood vessels.
Some really fascinating information. Of course, all of it available in the Canadian Encyclopedia of Natural Medicine. What we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break. We're going to change over the table. We still have more, especially when it comes to aging. Aging and heart health. So two critical things that I think a lot of people are interested in. We're back after this.